Welcome. Your art is a spell, and it will change your life and the world around you. Welcome to Your Art is a Spell, a podcast about harnessing your art as a sacred, magical practice. I'm your host, Edgar Fabián Frías, an artist, witch, therapist, and proud shapeshifter, and my art spells have traveled from social media to skyscrapers and even to the moon. On this show, we'll explore how reclaiming your power and embracing your own unique creative vision can transform both your life and the world around you. This is episode 1 of season 1, and I'm so happy you're here. You know, transformation often begins in the most unexpected places. For me, it started in the halls of LACMA, the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. When I was 14 years old, I found myself standing in front of an artwork called Backseat Dodge 38 by an artist named Edward Keenholz. And for the first time in my life, I entered into a trance state. I was completely disoriented, yet utterly transformed. This moment, this spell would change everything. I'm the child of immigrants, born in East Los Angeles and then raised in rural Southern California. Art wasn't exactly encouraged in my life. As a matter of fact, for the most part, it was ignored or not talked about. And whenever I brought it up as a career choice or even as an interest, it was often seen as a pipe dream, something delusional, something unsafe or uncertain, definitely not something to bet your money on. But after that transcendental moment at LACMA, I couldn't ignore the call. I remember coming home from that trip and begging my mom to take me to our local library in downtown Riverside. And as I arrived, there was a book about Andy Warhol just sitting there on a table as if it had been waiting for me. This led me down a rabbit hole of discoveries, from Duchamp to the Fluxus and the Dada movement. And eventually that moved into the realms of psychology, philosophy, and mysticism. My path has not been linear, and I wouldn't want it to be. I'm proud to be what I call a multi-hyphenate, multidimensional person, someone who refuses to be boxed in a single identity or practice. For over a decade, I worked as a social worker and psychotherapist in a variety of settings, and I still maintain a private practice as a somatic therapist here in California. But the call of art has never left me, leading me to pursue an MFA in art practice at UC Berkeley, which I completed in 2022. If you're curious about this journey of expanding rather than pivot, I've created a detailed video about it on my YouTube channel, which I'll link in the show notes. Life has a funny way of coming full circle. In 2023, that same LACMA where I had my first artistic awakening invited me to offer a workshop on none other than transcendental states inside a transcendental artwork exhibition. And that library in Riverside that was so formative for me invited me to create an art installation because it has now turned into the Cheech Marin Center for Chicano Art and Culture, and I was a part of the Mexicali Biennial that happened in 2023. Let me tell you what I mean when I say your art is a spell. I firmly believe that every piece of art we make is imbued with our energies, our desires, our hopes, our intentions. These artworks become our representatives in the world, emanating these intentions for long after we've created them. And sometimes these spells work in ways we could have never imagined. For years, I shared my art spells on Instagram, touching thousands of people around the world. This led to something I could have never dreamed of. 4 of my art spells were chosen to be among the artworks by 135 contemporary artists whose art was sent to the moon, to the literal moon, as a part of the Lunar Art Archive. These artworks were etched onto nickel-plated discs using nano laser technology, and now they are resting on the surface of the moon after being placed there in early 2024 by the Odysseus lander for future civilizations to discover. We have no idea who's going to find these works in thousands or maybe even millions of years from now. Something that I've learned along in this journey, and something that I'll be diving deeper into in future episodes, is what I call nonlinear psychic collaboration. I firmly believe that we can connect and create together beyond the confines of time and space. I've witnessed this happen countless times in my life and in my art practice, and I see this podcast itself as existing in that liminal space, reaching across time to connect with exactly who needs to hear it when they need to hear it. So if you're listening right now, this is the moment. Are you an artist, curator, or which that resonates with these ideas? We're currently seeking collaborators, sponsors, and future guests for Your Art is a Spell. If you're interested in being a part of this journey, visit our website, yourartisaspell.com, and sign up for our newsletter, or you can contact me directly, and you'll find that contact information on the same website. Let's create magic together. You know, I firmly believe in what I call radical experiments. Those moments when we face our fears and try something completely new. My background in DIY and underground culture has taught me something powerful. We all have the ability to self-ordain as whatever we want to be. Artists, visionary witches, you can claim whatever name or role or archetype that best suits you and that makes you feel emboldened and empowered. That's one of the core beliefs of this podcast. If you want to do it, you can. For example, despite my love of underground music, I've never seen myself as a musician, yet that hasn't stopped me. And today I've formed two bands, Gay K and Galaxias Eternas, and we've performed at museums and galleries, at music festivals, and some of Los Angeles' most iconic music venues, as well as in other parts of the country. This podcast itself is one of my radical experiments after deciding recently to leave Instagram, a platform where I've built a significant following and have reached thousands of people. I'm exploring new ways of connecting and of sharing my voice and my magic. If you're interested to learn more about why I decided to leave Instagram, you can find out more on my YouTube channel, as I've made a video about why I decided to quit Instagram. I will also be sharing this video in the show notes of this episode. Let me be clear about something. I want to empower artists to become the most powerful versions of themselves possible. But these often biased, exclusionary, and exploitative systems, we are reclaiming our power. But here's the thing. While we have so much to give, we also live in a world that is set up to exploit others. That's why throughout this podcast, I'll be sharing practical tips, tricks, and lessons I've learned about navigating the professional and business side of being an artist. We need to be savvy about money and really embody our agency to effectively navigate these systems and terrains. My hope is that these insights will help you claim your power and thrive on your own terms. Speaking of current transformations, one of the things I'm going to be doing is sharing updates, behind the scenes insights of my art practice here. I'm excited to announce that I'll be performing at the Broad, which is a museum in downtown Los Angeles, on February 22nd at 1 p.m. I'd love to see you there and to connect in person. This performance is going to be participatory, so you also have a chance to be involved in this performance. And I'm thrilled to share that I'm launching this podcast with not just this first episode, but with 3 episodes. In our second episode, I sit down with the incredible artist and astrologer, Jeff Hinshaw, also known as Trash Canyon or Cosmic Cousins, where we sit down and discuss 2025, which is also known as the Year of the Hermit numerologically, and based on the tarot, we explore what this powerful energy means for all of us going forward into this year. Jeff also provides some wonderful astrological insights about some of the upcoming transits and massive changes happening astrologically. And in our third episode, I speak with the incredible artist Gira Sonorica, who attended one of my art spell workshops in 2021 and has since shown her art all over the world and has really emboldened and empowered herself to be a visionary as an artist, a writer, and as someone who is sharing about culture. If you're in LA, you can catch her fascinating performance with a robot at Rib Space in downtown LA on February 21st at 6 p.m. She shares more about this during our conversation. Before we wrap up this episode, I want to emphasize something. Don't doubt those transcendental moments in your life, even when they feel disorienting or confusing. Every spell starts with a vision, and every vision has the potential to transform reality. I'll be back in your earbuds soon with more stories, spells, and radical experiments. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and sign up for our newsletter where I announce new episodes, find future guests, and interact directly with our community. You can find all of this by going to yourartisaspell.com. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I want to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Remember, your art is a spell and it will change your life and the world around you. See you soon.